Final four. Congratulations. It's been several hours to get to this point in the game. And if you're a fan of DCP, you know that all of our minis have ended on the same challenge. A wall sit challenge affectionately known as Butt on a Hard Idol. It was a wall sit of wall sits. But this is season 5, baby! Throw it away. We're going to switch things up. This final immunity challenge is called the last straw.
Everyone will start out holding a straw at least halfway or lower. The straw or your arm holding the straw cannot touch a table. You must build a stack on this straw, die, card, until there are 4 dice and 3 cards on your stack. You must hold that stack for 5 seconds after placing your final die.
The first player to hold their stack for 5 seconds will win the final individual immunity challenge of the season and earn their spot at Final Tribal Council, where they get the chance to plead their case to the jury for why they deserve the title of Sole Survivor. For the final immunity of Trinity Falls, survivors ready. Go. This is the last straw.
Last straw.
Gosh darn it, it's the last straw for me. But this is the final immunity challenge. They must stack 4 die and 3 cards between those die and hold that for 5 seconds.
We have Vee and Jon both placing their second card.
Oh my God.
Vee drops.
I'm so shaky.
Jon drops.
Jon drops. Sarah and Lydia toying with the first die.
Yeah, we're trying our best.
This challenge is a little bit difficult because the playing card obstructs your view of the center of the die.
Kylie, I don't know how you did this.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Vee wins the final individual immunity challenge of the season, guaranteeing her spot in the final 3 to plead their case in front of the jury. The rest of you, sadly, one of you will be the last one voted out and the last member of our jury.
So I won Final Four immunity. Very exciting for me because I really freaking needed it. Yeah, it felt like it went well. I just gripped it really firmly grasped it. And I'm really proud of myself because I have not won an individual immunity at all. So I've made it this far purely just by hiding behind bigger threats than me. And so it's really nice to just secure a spot.
The Final Four immunity. Good God, I'm so glad it was the final four and not a final 3 challenge because I'm tired. And I honestly, it's like I could do this talking thing all day, but the challenge parts, they tire me out. So I was just relieved, honestly, at that point. I felt like I could have done better than I did at the stacking stuff. I was surprisingly shaky and just could not really get my bearings. So I did not do too great. And Vee went really quickly. She seems like she's got a good sense of balance. And I'm happy for her because she's like me. We haven't really won anything yet. So I'm happy for her. And we've been kicking it for the whole time here. So
congratulations.
Yeah.
Great job. Oh my God, you killed it.
That was such a good job.
That was fantastic.
Oh, I can't go anywhere else.
Oh no. Well, there's only 2 available rooms, so you
That's fair.
gotta be queen of the room.
Yeah, queen of the room.
2 people want to split off, and
yeah,
okay.
I'll say.
All right, Jon.
Yeah, let's go.
Go to what? Shelter.
Yes.
Okay.
The Final Four immunity challenge was good. I think yet again I've come in second. I've won some things, but I think a lot of the ones if I didn't intentionally do bad, I took second. Or like the tribal ones that we would lose earlier, like I would finish like right at the end. Like I was always there. So I was right. I need to back up though. I did not finish this one like I did others. I did stop. So who knows if I would have actually gotten that third dice up. But I was doing well. So that's exciting. It does worry me that it's going to paint a target. I mean, the options are me, Lydia, or Sarah. So my options for this vote are me and Lydia, which we kind of talked about, but we didn't solidify it, have a pact. I do believe that from this final four, if it's a final three, which I believe you guys have said like that was it, like final tribal, I do believe it's going to be Lydia or I who wins the game. And I hope that that's not too optimistic of me. I'm not getting ahead of myself because who knows what they can pull out at final tribal. Like they might have had tons of secrets, but from what I've seen, it's between us. So we can either go head to head here and one of us doesn't make final tribal, or we can say, you know what, let's fight it out in the end instead and vote together and convince Lydia to vote with us. I mean, Vee to vote with us. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
You know, I was glad this was the final. I was hoping that we wouldn't have to go through 2 more votes. So grateful in that respect. Yeah.
Agreed.
So I mean, well, our only option to talk about right now is Sarah.
And obviously we have each other. So as I have the past couple of votes, have been honest with you. My honest thing is that I don't know. Before I told you, I definitely wanted you to go before. But at this point, I think both of our gambles could be try to pitch to go further with Sarah and maybe have an easier win.
Right.
Because I do feel that that you and I are both doing very well.
I was going to say, but that also bodes well for if we vote together.
Yeah. If we
vote together, does it immediately, if we vote together and it ties 2-2, does the odd person out just go?
No, I think I would go to fire making.
We would go to fire. Okay.
I want to take you with me.
What?
I would like to take you with me.
I was gonna say I want to do Jon because I want all women.
Okay.
And
wait,
I'm not trying to be like self-deprecating, but like I know that I don't have anything to win.
Well, I think you and I are. And I'm not trying to. I think I'm seen as a goat.
Same, me too.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to take 2 goats, but they could. I feel like.
Wait, so because it's a final 3, right? Yeah, it's final 3.
We don't know.
Oh.
But I'm assuming. I think we should play like it is.
And it can't have Lydia. I feel bad, but I mean, Lydia beats us. I mean, do you want to just do that and then just?
Wait, so you want to do Lydia?
Yeah, I lose to Lydia and Jon, and
same.
Probably
no.
You, but
you just wanted to. No, you just totally took me out. Don't you worry. She's the only person that I'm like even remotely on like a level playing field with. Although, again, I don't think I've played like the most impressive game. So like it only just makes her that much more better than me. So she probably would have been who I would have pitched to vote out had she not won. But I haven't got to work with her at all. So it's kind of nice that we're hopefully on the same page for once, but it definitely kind of, put a wrench in like what I wanted to do. I guess I can tell you guys now because it doesn't matter. I did get something on Exile, but I never got to use it.
Oh no, what was it?
But I had to do like a puzzle and it was like, the puzzle was really hard and they had to like watch me like flail the entire time.
Me with a flip cup.
And I am like dreading to see how it's edited. Like I'm like the whole time I'm just like, what the is going on here? And they had to explain it to me.
Oh no.
So many times. And I actually did it. And I was like, anyways, it didn't matter. I never used it because I'm a dumbass. But yeah, that was fun.
That's awesome.
Like the only thing I didn't tell anybody because I was like trying to hoard it.
No, that's a good, I mean, I didn't tell anybody about my idols because I think that I think it is wise.
Annoyingly, Lydia, it was an idol nullifier. I know.
I think that we've all played very well. We all have some stuff under our belts. You just won final tribal immunity, which is huge, obviously. I do feel that we have played different games, you and I. So we both have a case. Mm-hmm. I do think that you and Lydia have played this entire game together. And I know that if I was still here with Austin, who was accurately a pair who I tried to throw off, but like we did do the whole game together. As you guys have done, you guys have voted, I think every vote together, if not maybe a couple, but I do believe that her stuff outweighs yours. And it's easily seen, where mine, they're two different games. So I do feel that you would have a better pitch against me. I'm not going to sit here and say that either of us would have an easy path to the end. Like, I'm not being like, oh, you can beat me. I think you could, but I also think that we would have a battle. I do think that Lydia would.
Yeah, she sweeps. I get that.
Would sweep. And Sarah and I have played this whole game together. Yeah. And if there's anyone who just wants to vote like OG tribe type stuff, we would split votes. Whereas right now, anyone who is rooting for, I would say you and Lydia were the underdogs. Like you guys were fighting from the bottom the whole time. Anyone who wants the underdog story, even if you do have more to bring to the table, you guys might split the votes and it could go to Sarah or me, whichever one of us isn't here.
Right.
So, which is why I don't know if that means I want Sarah to go, but I do think, just speaking out loud, that your best move here would be Lydia to go. And it puts me and Sarah both at a disadvantage. And you can say that you made that cutthroat move when it had to be made instead of like an obvious decision. Like you took the risk.
Yeah. No, it makes 100% sense. Yeah, I think Lydia is the move. She's the obvious move.
Okay.
It just is what it is. I'm with you. Yeah.
Okay. I just had to talk with Vee and I pitched to her Lydia. I told her all of us have played a good game. I do think that Lydia and Vee have played the entire game together, and Lydia has a couple more things under her resume than Vee does. And I think that if Vee goes to the end with Lydia clean sweeps. However, if she goes with me, who is a formidable competitor, I wasn't trying to pretend like I was a layup, but at least I've played a completely different game. We've voted opposite. We've both been on opposite sides. So there could be a battle where they have the exact same thing, but Lydia does have a couple more things. And I don't think I'm bullshitting here. I think that's what I do think that's best for Vee's game. However, obviously that's good for my game as well, but not amazingly, because then I'm still in the end with Sarah, who I've played this whole game with. But at this point, I do think I have a ton more on my resume than Sarah. So I do think I'm going to push for Lydia, but I think I need to lie to Lydia and tell her I want us to do Sarah, just to make sure nothing weird comes my way. But that's to be determined, because I have been playing a pretty straightforward, loyal game, or honest game, I should say.
It's hard. It is hard to get people to want to bring me to Final Tribal, because I have a pretty solid resume at this point. And Emily very kindly made the very, I guess, fair point, but like didn't help me at the time, of saying that, Lydia, if I'm on jury and you're in the final, my vote's for you. And I'm like, thank you. That's nice, but you could have maybe waited to tell me that, because now people have got it in their heads. So my best pitch, and what I would really like to pitch, is an all-girl final three. I would get to stay with Vee. We have been homies for the whole game. I think despite our similar gameplays, I probably have a one-up on her. And Sarah, I adore her. Not that I don't adore Jon too, but I also think I have a decent chance to win against her. But frankly, whoever, it's up in the air, man. I mean, I'm picking between Sarah and Jon. I'd like to get Jon, but whatever's going to save me, if possible. Have we ever spoken about the final until now? No,
I'm joking. I know, joking.
But it would be cool.
Yeah.
No, Vee, I mean, I will be upfront, especially now that you have immunity. I was like, because I have also been scorned by my closest people. When you said that thing about getting attached, I really felt that, because I also was, I was booted at Final 5 by like my allies, basically. So I had it in, it's like, I thought you might have it in mind. We might need to kind of do a turn on each other eventually anyway, but instead we can just, I mean, you could do what you want. You got the power, but we can, yeah.
I'm with you. Let's do it. Let's do Final 3.
I love that.
I like that too.
Okay, let's do it.
Pitch whoever you need to if you talk to Jon, obviously, because there's not a lot of choices.
I mean, you know what Jon's pitching,
yeah.
But I'm with y'all.
All right, I love it. Hello.
Hey.
I was just giving them a chance to one-on-one, but
they're probably talking about voting you.
Yeah, probably.
Because of the fire.
But if we stick together, then you're in. So
if they tie now, it goes to fire, not to the wheel.
I believe so.
Can you guys answer that?
Yes, it does not go to the wheel. It goes to fire.
Okay. So yes, stick with me, because no matter what, either we all vote together, you, me, and Vee vote together, and Jon's gone, or you and me vote together, and Vee and Jon vote together, and me and Jon go to fire.
the two obvious choices are there and they're going for each other. So I feel safe in that sense. But like, I feel like also it could be easy for them to just like all be talking right now and be like, let's get her out. So I don't feel safe at all. But I do feel like Lydia and Jon are like very obvious, like they are bigger threats.
I mean, obviously, right now the decision is, am I going to, is it going to be a fire making situation? Like, am I going to hold true to that? Or I would like to take Sarah with me. So I've been talking to Sarah kind of more seriously about what that looks like. And so that's kind of my plan, is to pitch that. I mean, you know, when other people had the immunity necklace, I had to kind of go with them. So I hate that when it happens like that, but I really want to be able to give fire, just because I feel like that gives respect from the jury. And I'm hoping, my hope is that sorry, I'm not speaking very well. I'm thinking through a lot of stuff. I also just want to be able to hear what people have to say, just because I know I really appreciate it when people hear what I have to say.
I came over and no one was here, so I was like, oh no, he's over in the other one. Hi, you wanted to touch base again?
Yeah, I did. I am still tossing both ideas back and forth. Like, honestly, with you, like, I see pros and cons to both. I worry that both of them are going to tell us what we both want to hear.
Right.
And then who knows which of us get the short end of the stick, or we can take fate in our own hands and at least guarantee we both get to final tribal. So I don't know if you have feelings on that one way or the other. Because I
Not
don't
necessarily. It's like, do we think that they would vote together? Because if they did, they're probably putting votes on me.
I mean, I think both of us could
yes, both of us, I agree. I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, because if it were to go to tie, basically, because and Vee was saying Vee is willing, they're like cool about going to fire, which I'm like, I don't want to, but you know, it's, I guess, a chance to save yourself. But I don't know. Then at least, you know, if like we stuck together and they stuck together, at least one of us like would be safe in a tie situation. Is kind of my thought. So yeah, I mean, and then I think it would be a really solid fight, just fighting it out at final 3 to go Yumi and Vee.
Yeah, I do see like the fun in not doing it, but it's just so hard to know, like, if we will, which one of us they're lying to, like.
Yeah. Oh, at this point you have no idea, because everyone only has one option to say. It's just a matter of just a matter of who can finesse it the most, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm mad respect to every single person who's made it. Like, I mean, everybody here, but like especially this endgame group has been
completely agree.
Nuts. I'm. Oh my god, it's gonna be soon. Oh god, it's gonna be soon.
Did 2 minutes come up? Did they just
No, I'm just like, okay, we just have to get through this tribal and then final tribal and then the game's over.
Literally, we're so close. Yeah, this final 4. No matter what happens,
it's gonna be great. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Hello, Final 4 at your last tribal council before the final tribal council. And let's get right to it. We had a different final immunity challenge this year. It was the last straw, a good dexterity and balance, focused competition, and with that, we saw Vee win the final immunity challenge. Vee, how did it feel to know that you secured for yourself a lock into the final 3?
Yeah, it feels very great. This has been first individual immunity win, and it was extremely needed. And so, you know, as somebody who's quite literally played from the bottom the entire time, and who has really labored and struggled in this game, being able to have this necklace around my neck, just really, it like gives me that kind of boost of confidence that maybe I need moving forward.
Awesome. Sarah. how are you navigating this Final Four and figuring out what you need to do to make sure you are also sitting in one of those final 3 chairs?
Navigating. I'm really not good at directions, if I'm being honest. But I'm just kind of. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think I'm just kind of going, like, I'm considering myself a number at this point. Like, I feel like there's only 2 choices, and both of those choices are incredibly good players in this game. So, like, do I want to go against either of them in the final? Not really. But I don't have a choice. So it's like the lesser of 2 better players. So it's mostly just like, which of these amazing players is slightly better than the other amazing player?
Well, I hope we can all read some subtext in the room. Obviously, we're talking about Lydia and Jon here because they're the only other 2 people that can get voted for.
Exactly, yeah. So like we all know I'm talking about. They, like, you know, and they've both been targets through this entire game. They both have played incredibly well. So like they're both going to do well. But which one will do better, I guess, is the choice.
Okay. Well, with that, you might as well allow Lydia and Jon to make their own pitches here for why they should be the one who survives this. So, Lydia, ladies first.
I mean, I don't have a hard time making an argument at this point. I think play your game. That's what I'm doing. I think this is a really difficult decision. Do I think I deserve to be in the end? I do, but I think everybody here does. So I hope that the relationships that I've built with this group of people is enough. I care about all of you, and after, I mean, you know, we just spent a really laborsome 13 hours together, so that's real and legit. But yeah, I just, at this point, I am relying on my relationships and hoping that it gets me there.
Very well said, Lydia. Now, Jon, what do you think? I essentially the same thing. Give your pitch.
I think that my game has been hyped up from people from the get-go, and it was overhyped sometimes. I do not think that sitting next to me in the end is a bad thing at all. I'm not saying I'm an easy beat, but I feel like Sarah was talking like we don't have to have a final tribal if I'm there, like, and Lydia, but I think that Lydia has, and it's all with love and respect, and Lydia and I talked about some other options, but we didn't really, which other option being Sarah, but neither of us really locked that in, Sarah. So I'm gonna say here and now, my vote is for Lydia. Lydia has played from the bottom this whole game. She was an underdog and she slayed it. And it's very easy to be on the bottom and not just fade back in, but she never did. She fought this entire game. I got very lucky with swaps. I got lucky throughout this whole game. I also forged my way. I'm not saying it was all luck, but I do think that Lydia is a huge threat. Vee, I do believe that you and Lydia have played this whole game together, and I think your resume is impressive, but I think that Lydia's is more impressive, and it's comparable. So I do talk to you right now and say that I do think that Lydia will get votes over you because you guys have done everything together, but she has been in tougher positions than any of us have. And Sarah, I have been with you from the beginning. I do think that Lydia would crush either one of us, and you were someone I talked to in the very beginning, and it's been an honor to get this far, and I would love to sit in that final tribal with you. And I don't think you should count yourself out yet. I think you have played a phenomenal game, especially after sitting out earlier of a whole round and getting right back into the social game of it. I have been loudly targeted, which I think is not that impressive. It means I wasn't able to get my name off of the other side's mouth. So I talked a lot, and Lydia, please.
I would just like to pitch that I also started getting targeted for by somebody who got voted out when I played my first idol. and I did that out of necessity. I don't know why he started gunning for me. So it's the same thing, and maybe even since earlier than you, that I have had this target on my back. I didn't really know where it came from, if I'm being honest, to start out. I do get it down the line because I understand that I do have a pretty solid social game. Like, I get that, but I'm gonna say that it's the same situation. Jonathan put my name out there to begin with, and then he went home and my name stayed out there. And I played with the idols because I had to. It was fully self-preservation, and obviously y'all see that A, I'm able to botch an idol play, B, I have no comp wins, and C, oh my god, this is so much talking, I lost my train of thought. I don't even know. A and B. And we'll keep it there. I'm tired.
Well, you all four have played as hard and for as long as you possibly can this game. But now it's time to vote.
I'm voting for either the 4th place person or the 1st place person of this game.
Homie, you pitched against me real good there. I hope this works out. I hope I've done enough. I don't know if I have, but I hope with all my hope. We'll see what happens. Either way, it's been great.
I'll go tally the votes. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to leave the Zoom call immediately. I'll read the votes.
Say anything?
Lydia. Lydia. Jon. 2 votes Lydia, 1 vote Jon, 1 vote left. The final member of our jury, Lydia.
Great
The
game.
tribe has spoken.
What can you do? It's all
Amazing
good.
game.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to play, and y'all are amazing. Man, I mean, I honestly made it farther than I thought I would at a certain point, just given the hand that I was dealt. So I'm super proud of my game. Actually, this is tied for the second farthest I've placed in a game, so that's really exciting. Frankly, I mean, yeah, they were right to vote me out. I probably would have won. I just could not swing it enough. I really was trying to pitch for a girls' alliance. I just could not swing it enough to get us to the final 3. Which is a bummer, but I'm proud. I'm super proud of my idol plays. I don't think I've successfully played an idol before, so that was really exciting. I think that I did a good job of some of the goals that I was trying to achieve, which included not getting too attached to people, which was what tanked my games. It's what's tanked my games in the past. And you know, I mean, it's been what, like almost 14 hours, and I sat here and I made it through almost the entire game. Obviously I would have loved to win, but I was kind of expecting it at this point. So I'm excited to see how it shakes out. And this has been a fantastic experience.
Congratulations to Jon, Sarah, and Vee. You have gone the farthest you can go in this game. Now the power shifts to the jury. The 7 people you have directly or indirectly voted out now must cast a vote for you to win this game. In a moment, you will be allowed a brief opening statement. Then each juror will have the opportunity to address the finalists. We're going to start with opening statements. Let's keep them. Let's try to keep them a couple minutes. You'll have more time to enhance your game during the jury questioning. So with that, Jon, you are up first, my friend.
Hi everybody. This mini was so much fun, and I've had so much fun playing with all of you. I definitely want to start off because we weren't able to talk in that other room, and whether it's for this game or not, Lydia, if you feel that anything I said in that final tribal was mean at all, like, I think she started to joke about it, but she got cut off. So like, if there was anything, like, I did not mean anything disrespectful. I thought you would have won this whole game, is what I believe. So I did not mean to offend you at all. Next tier moment is to Emily, who I wanted to roll all the way to the end with. And this, I know, is going to be so silly of me to do because I could be suggesting people to go to vote for Vee here. I would have went all the way. Vee came and told me, like, very shortly before the vote, that you told Lydia and Vee that we should get Sarah out of Final 5 for that immunity, and that way I had no power and no allies left in Final 4. If Vee was lying to me, she got me to turn on you. If she didn't, I was able to use that, and that was when I thought you were taking the first move. You were my person, though, so that it hurt to hear it, but maybe it didn't happen. I believe I made one super, I don't know the sentence I just said. I believe that was what I was perceiving to happen, so I made the first move. One of the shadiest things I also did, because I was pretty loyal to the people I was playing with the whole time, I did not know where the numbers were going. Lex and Lydia, 2 other people additionally to me, did not speak in that open format. I was the vote for Sarah because I could not decide. I thought Sarah was definitely voting Lydia, and I didn't know which way Vee would go. And I was so scared to make that a 3-3 tie and go to rocks. And I didn't know if someone else would throw a vote Vee's way because she's caught rogue votes. So I threw a vote Sarah's way because I was so confident that Sarah was not catching votes that round. And Lex and Lydia were both detrimental to my game towards this end run. So I was honestly happy with either of you going that round. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going home on rocks. I won 2 individual immunities here. I was very happy with them. One of them was at Final 5, which I do think I would have been in danger for, especially if Lydia would have won it. So I think that one I really needed crucially. I have played with a big target on my back since at least since the merge, if not from before the merge. I have been able to keep my cool when paranoia was setting in, when everyone's telling me that Ben is targeting me very hard. I very much wanted to say, no, let me go pull Ben and Lydia and Vee and get them to vote elsewhere. But I said, you know what? I'm going to sit this one back because if that gets around, then because I would have to say one of my allies' name in that moment and they could use that against me. So I decided to take a chance, and I took big risks for a big payoff, I hope. And I said, you know what? Either I go here or I go to the end. Like a couple times, I did not want to cause paranoia. And I think I played a pretty straightforward game. Honestly, the straightforward game I've ever played as far as like playing with the people I was with. I look forward to hearing all of your answers. I feel those were the only I feel like those were some of the biggest secrets that I have kept. I feel everything else I did was straightforward. I knew that Luke was coming for Austin, and Austin, I wasn't ever planning on writing you. You obviously got idled out, and that was not fun for my game. Lo, it was so sad to see you go, and as a competitor, I would never keep someone in the game who's going to leave, which is why I respected you for saying that as well. My competitors, Vee and Sarah, you have been amazing, as to everyone else. You guys were so much fun to play with this whole game. I look forward to all of your questions. Please give me hard questions, like rip into me, give me I'm happy to answer them. I can't think of everything right now.
Thank you, Jon. Sarah, you are up next.
I feel like my best aspect of this game has been social, which was the only thing I think I knew I could do going into it. It's my first time playing in an org, so it was definitely like a really steep learning curve, and I feel like I got really lucky to play with a really rounded burst of group of people. Like you all were so helpful and kind in how to play, and I didn't feel like there was any bullies or meanness. So I'm very thankful for all of you for making this a really enjoyable experience. Even when I went into exile, I didn't feel like it wasn't an instant she's the obvious pick when I got back. So I do feel like my social game is definitely the way where I played the strongest, but I also just outlasted. No one really went for me that often. I don't know if Emily went for me actually, if Vee was lying or not. If she was lying, I fell for it. But up until that moment, no one really went for me. And so I feel like I had such a good level playing the entire time. My challenges were, average at best. You guys are all really good at balancing things on straws. That's very cool. But yeah, I don't really have that much to add. I do want to say to Lydia, you honestly convinced me to vote for you at the last tribal. When you said play your game, I was like, there's no way I could ever, like, we just know that you did such an amazing job that, like, when you said that, I was like, oh, I'm playing like my game, which is what's best for me, even though it's like, you know, a shot in the dark over here. I knew that I had to put you. So that was really hard for me. In every confessional that I voted for you in, I said, I don't want to do this. It's the hardest thing. But yeah. So give me easy questions. I'll cry. So like, give Jon the hard ones and give me the easy ones.
Thank you, Sarah. And finally, Vee, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, give me, I guess, medium questions, because that seems to be the only option left. Yeah, so I'll address my game very broadly, and then in questioning, I'm happy to go into specifics. I feel I quite literally, I mean, I play from the bottom this entire game. I have struggled my way through. I have had to sort of flow with the powers that be at any given time. I've referred to myself several times throughout this game as people being on the throne and me being the court jester to have to kind of entertain and try to stick around. And I truly think the Outlast portion, and I know juries, so with the Outlast piece, I know that's something that can go different ways, but I 100% feel I have exceeded in the Outlast aspect. I won no individual immunities, and I played in the middle pretty successfully, except, the individual immunity that mattered, which for me was the sorry, I'm nervous, so I'm looping around a lot. So I feel playing from the bottom the whole time, and you know, when you play from the bottom, like you can imagine, it's hard to have big splashy moves when you're playing from the bottom, because you can't really come into a chat and be like, okay, so let me tell you how this is going to be. You know, you can't have that energy. You have to go with the flow in a lot of ways. So I think, you know, I automatically had to play a more under the radar game just by nature of being at the bottom the entire time. With that being said, I do feel very confident in my social game, not just in the way I connect with people. I feel like I have made very strong connections here, but I view social game as so much more than like being friendly and sweet. I view it as being able to see where the flow of information is going. And specifically what I think I did well at here is being able to identify who was in power positions. So at different points, I won't say, I mean, we can go into specifics if we need to, but there were different power players throughout the game. And for me, and I hope there's no bad blood between us for this, my number one target was Emily. I felt that, and Emily, I hope we can be friends after this. It was nothing personal at all, but for me, you were, and I knew you were maybe like, you know, we're all throwing out names, but I knew if you got to final tribal, you would, I mean, I just heard the way you answered things at final tribals, and the way you started to begin to control the game, I respected so much. And so I said, I have to make sure she goes. And so that is when I did use the information Emily gave about voting out Sarah in order to isolate Jon. And I used it against Emily in order to blindside Emily. And we did that successfully. So being able to be observational about, like, observant about who's in power at certain times is something that I feel like I did well in. Although I was on the wrong side of the votes many times, because I attempted to play a very loyal game where as loyal as I could while still being from the bottom and having to like look out for number one, so to speak. Where that really came to a head for me was my last vote. Just recently, I had to vote out Lydia, and I know jurors don't like when people get emotional, so I'm really sorry. That was a very hard vote for me because Lydia was somebody I played with all day today, which I know is just one day. But for me, Lydia, we can say it a million times, we can say it a million times more. Lydia was a jury sweep, and I genuinely don't think, I know I was already viewed as somebody who didn't make a lot of moves, who played a very under the radar game. And so I felt like if I honored that and brought Lydia, I mean, I would be like, nobody on the jury would give me dust, you know, they wouldn't pay me dust. And so Lydia, I'm really sorry for that. Emily, I'm sorry for that as well. And I want to make amends to anybody else I've hurt in this game. Yeah, and so that's kind of where I'm coming from and where my game's coming from. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be here.
Cool. I just want to say thank you, Vee. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Jon. All great opening speeches. Now it's time for the jury questioning. One at a time, I will signal who's going to be going. You get to ask a question or a general statement, but we're not doing multiple questions. We're not going on forever. We've held all of you around here long enough. So with that being said, first, the Mayor Ponderosa himself, Luke, get on the stand.
The Guardian of Ponderosa. We're looking for a superhero reference. Hey, congratulations, you all. 13 hours is definitely an endurance competition, and you three did it, and that's impressive. And I do think the three of you made the right move, as I will also agree that Lydia was a jury sweep. So congratulations on that. My question, and this is from a lot of the jurors that we talked about for the last 4 hours. Who did you know in the org world? Who did you know beforehand? How did you use that relationship in this game? If you knew about this game beforehand, what had you learned about it? And how did basically all the research, then who you saw that you knew? Tell us a little bit about that.
I'll start us off. I have played 5 other games, different formats. And the moment that we all got onto our first tribes, Andrew said that, and everyone else pulled me into a room and was like, Andrew played a couple games, let's get him out. So I completely lied about all of that because 5 isn't even a lot in this org world. I learned a lot of newer people here. Like 5 is, I'm still so new here. And I instantly had to downplay that. The only people that I knew was Emily and Lee. Lee and I all played a mini before together, and I would have been fine with working with Lee. Me and Emily were not with Lee. We got Lee out, and we only decided, like, when Lee got to be with the other tribe for that challenge, it was like, but it would have been cool to make amends. Emily was someone that I did work with in that other game, and 100%, like, it was one of the things I was saying, I got lucky. I got lucky to see another ally here tonight. However, I believe, and she could correct me if I'm wrong, I kept my guard up the whole time. I know that we're both badass competitors, and I did not think because we knew each other before and that we were going to work together. It was just a connection we had, but we worked together in this game, I believe, in this game, which is why it was hard. But when I heard that she might be coming for me at the end and not want to go too far with me, I made the move, even though it was hard because it's someone who I didn't just meet today.
I was truthful when I said I played 1 org prior on Discord. I'm about to start another one on Discord, but I didn't think that was, I guess, relevant. I would have shared that too. I don't know anybody on this cast. Thank you.
I didn't know anything or anybody about any of it. I legitimately didn't think that people played multiple games. And so when I found that people had played more than like 2, I was like, wow, this is a whole new world to me. Like I'm just like tipping my toes into it, and I'm like already very invested. So yeah, I knew nothing, no one. You're all new to me.
I want to let the 3 of you know that the decision is completely open. I have no idea who I'm voting for. I'm going to be listening very carefully because, like I said, I was voting for Lydia.
Well, thank you, Luke. Next up is Ben.
Hey guys. So this was the final 3 composition out of the final 5 that I think the jury was the most interested to see. This is, I think, the most even that y'all have. I think Emily or Lydia had the potential to sweep the entire jury. The fact that this is the final 3 makes this very interesting. My vote is still very much up for grabs. I feel like my interactions with all of the 3 of you had the sort of theme of missed opportunities. So Vee, you and I started on the initial tribe, and I felt the vibes. But we Did not get the chance to work with each other all that much. We connected at the merge. You, I believe, voted to keep me, and it just was not meant to be. And I respect the loyalty. Jon and Sarah, we were on the same swap tribe together, and like, there's no animosity. It just did not work out. No. So my question is, what is your missed opportunity in the game? What sort of thing or move did you want to do but couldn't do, and why didn't you do it?
Can I start? Mine is like on Exile, I did get an advantage and I never used it because I just kept like waiting. So like my biggest regret is like not using it. Like just like, well, I waited too long. Like I thought I had one more tribal to use it. So that's like definitely like the puzzle on Exile was so hard. Like it took me the entire time, and it was like I was so proud that I finished it and I couldn't tell anybody. So I was like really annoyed about that. But I'm like, my biggest regret, because it really could have changed a lot of things. Like it was an idle nullifier, which the only person, again, Lydia, I don't know why everything just comes back to Lydia. Who would have thought she would have had a third one? I missed it once and I was like, okay, well, it's not going to happen again. And then it did.
Mine would definitely be, I didn't solidify a single group working with. And I mean, that's part of the fun of playing these kind of games, making alliances or even real in the alliance. And I didn't have a single alliance. I don't know if there were other alliances that existed in this game. I definitely had people I was working with and things, but it's always fun to have like an official, like, I believe the only deal that I made this whole game was with Vee, and it was around Final 6. We made a 2 tribal deal together. But besides that, it was lots of like, hey, let's do this. Like, let's do this. But like the only like solidified thing where I was like, if you do this for me now, I'll do this for you and you do this. Like a written out deal, like a handshake kind of deal, instead of like, let's go all the way. Like Emily and I were going to go all the way, but it was never like solidified. Sarah and I were talking about going all the way. Also, like there was all these people I wanted to go far with, but I would have loved to do more of that. I don't know what that would even be categorized. Social aspects. I socialize a lot, but I didn't solidify anything.
Yeah, I think for me, a couple things, because I can be cool. Similarly, and I've done a mini before, so it's hard to get that one-on-one time. That's where I'm best. So I had a lot of connections, like I had a lot of social connections to parlay into strategic connections due to the nature and the structure of how minis work. So Lex, I really was interested in us working together much more intimately. Ben, you as well. Lo, you as well. Like these were relationships that I was like very interested in trying to pursue and see where it could go, but it just never got off the ground. And because, you know, in a lot of ways, I was so terrified to take those risks because I knew I was at the bottom, and I was scared if I even dared to say a name or, you know, try to do something at the wrong time, then it would bite me in the ass.
I think that's great. I think that's great answers from all three of you. Final words: less visible games, emotional games, silent games. All of those are valid and deserving of praise. Congrats on all three of you for making it.
Thank you, Ben. Austin, it's your turn.
Okay. First thing first, congrats on making it this far. My question is, I don't know if everybody remembers their answers, but on the application, we were asked what survivor we would like to play as and which survivor we think we will play as. So I want to hear everybody's answers as far as which of those two survivors they actually did play as, or if they're you have a change of answer and there's someone else that you thought you played as.
I wrote in my application that I would like to play as Jeremy, and that I would probably play as Sugar. What's interesting is I actually think I did kind of play like both ultimately. I am extraordinarily emotional like Sugar. I have always been this way. Well, in my one org. I was very emotional in my last org. And I made it very deep, kind of with being true to myself in that way and maintaining that part of who I am. I also, with Jeremy, I don't want to compare myself to Jeremy at all. So I don't want it to be interpreted like that. But I do think, you know, that method of keeping threats around, obviously playing from the bottom, it's not like I always had a choice in that way, but choosing and making, like staying with Lydia for as long as I did, knowing that she is a ginormous threat and would take me the hell out, is a way I think I could compare that. But ultimately, I do not think I played like Jeremy, because I think, although it was strategic in a lot of ways, I think I did a sloppier version of that, just to be transparent, and which is why I do think I honor that sugar side of myself.
I think I probably would have put, I wanted to play like Suri, because I feel like she did a really good job all the time, and people always really like, she was really good at the social game, and her like challenges where she knew that she wasn't going to excel at those all the time, but she knew like where she could keep her, like get her strength and how she can like convince people to do other things and stuff like that without ever seeming like she was doing that. And I kind of feel like, I think his name is Wu, whoever went with Tony, I feel like I ended up playing like him because I did just like kind of stick with like the people I was working with the whole time. And he got to the end with a person he worked with the whole time. And that like, they made almost all the same moves, but one person did better. It looked like they won challenges. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel like I played.
I said I thought I would play like Parv. I think she is absolutely phenomenal, and she uses a lot of assets, and I try to use them, and I don't think I did actually in this game because the format was hard to have like one-on-ones, but I do love to have that like personal deep connections with people that like I feel like when you watch her, she just like has a way of just like getting to people, and I do like connecting to people like she does, but I don't think the format had me play that way as I thought I would be playing.
Okay, well, thank you, Austin, for the question. We'll move forward to Lo.
You know, this is not a final three that I expected. You know, Sarah, I never got one-on-one time with you, and Jon, I kind of felt like you were kind of scrapping from the bottom when we did get a chance, and B, it was never just us one-on-one. So my question to you all is, well, really so at this point, it's a very perplexing game that each of you played. And so I didn't have the chance to work with you. So what role did I play in your game, if I did play any role in your game? And this is for my vote.
Lo, I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, I wanted to work with you very much, but I was not able to get you isolated in that way. I felt like I connected with you because I also am in Bad Bitch Book Club, and I felt like we could kind of parlay that into like a strategic connection. And also like, I'm very new to orgs. I like the newbie vibe, and that's like something I really wanted for us. You were, and it was an open secret, you were playing the under the radar perfect game. Yeah. You had like, I mean, no one was targeting you. You were like, I mean, especially for like you know, like you were absolutely killing it in that regard. So for me, oh yeah, that impacted my game because, you know, like I was also playing an under the radar game, and I wanted to keep you around, obviously. And I say obviously, I wanted to continue to try to work with you and work on our relationship. But ultimately, your exit allowed me to, continue my under the radar game and be one of the UTR players left.
I did want to work with you because I had heard you had gained the trust of people who I had trusted, and I appreciated that. I believe you were also the only person, one of the only people post into the merge that I hadn't met that wasn't targeting me within the first like 2 votes. Like it wasn't like going around that like you weren't with the numbers that I didn't meet yet. You were the only person. And so I was like, okay, cool. I would like to make sure she stays on that side.
The way that you impacted everyone's game was that you were like truly such a middle vote. Like I never knew where you were going, but not in like a sneaky, she's lying kind of way, in a way that was like if you told me you were voting with me, I did not doubt you like at all. And there was a couple times where we did do a good voting block and you were like the extra when we had like our tribe of 4 still there. And like, I think that that's definitely how you impacted the game, but I truly think you impacted everyone's game because no one could pin you down. Like you weren't upsetting anybody. You were kicking ass in all of the things. So there was like a few times that I was like, we should get her out eventually because like, no, I mean, I mentioned her name like once or twice. And like, when like people wouldn't throw names out, I was like, she's so good. Like, she's like, nobody doesn't, like you have not that anyone's upsetting people, but like you had not stepped on anyone's toes. You hadn't like hurt anyone's feelings. Like, I think you impacted everyone's game.
Thanks, y'all. I appreciate the selfless answers for a very selfish question. So
Thank you, Lil. Next, it's a good day because it's Lex.
I don't know what this shit's coming from because, Emily clocked it already, but we're going to keep moving on from all that. Anyway, I just want to say, honestly, wholeheartedly, congratulations because you three did what clearly we all couldn't do. So good on you. Good job. Be proud of the game you played. Whatever game you played, be proud of it. Okay. You guys got there. We didn't. I do want to just touch on that. I think you each have a very different kind of style of game. And I love that, And I want to know, and I think the jury also wants to know, was there a pivotal moment in this game, whether it was day one or, the vote out with Lydia, like what was the moment in your game that changed the trajectory of your game and what got you to your final seat?
I believe this was right after Ben left and I knew that my name was already out there. People were looking at me, targeted. I was doing well in a lot of challenges. Austin and I were a duo, like all that was happening. And then we went right into that, the coconut challenge, they were calling it, where we had to ping pong and knock each other off. I miss everyone because I didn't want to target someone first, and except for one. And that was because Lex threw one. So it was easy to give it back. And I put on I tried to give a little show of it to make sure everyone knew Jon's not good at competitions because that was going around. And I do believe it worked because at that point, although it wasn't necessarily getting me, people wanted to work with me, but I believe that is when Lydia and Vee shifted their view a little bit to my partner, Austin, and said, oh, Jon actually isn't as good as everyone thinks he is. Because I put on that show and I believe Austin won that one, but then maybe left the next one. Like it was right around then. I believe that was the pivotal moment where I recognized from the Ben vote that I was playing a little bit too loud and too obvious. And I needed to take that back seat and use the shields as I needed to.
Yeah, a couple things. Obviously, day one, I made a major alliance with Lydia. My relationship to her was very influential and definitely changed the course of my game because I continued to hide behind her insane threat level until right now. And then the other piece was, and I've mentioned this a couple times already, when I parlayed information from Emily in order to conduct a blindside against her. That was the, up until then, that was the opportunity. Didn't have a lot of opportunities to be involved in major moves. And that was the first time I was actually able to do something by myself or not by myself. Obviously we all have votes. We do blindsides together in Survivor, but that was something I identified as like, okay, I have to make a move. Otherwise I have nothing on my resume to show these people at the end.
Playing a level game and not freaking out, minus the puzzle on Exile where I like lost everything mentally. That was like the only moves I could really do was just like keeping my cool. And like when Vee did tell me about Emily, I was quickly adaptable. So I just feel like all my moves are being adaptable and being like quick to like kind of tell when, I did wonder if she was lying, but it turns out she wasn't. So I definitely just like my whole moves and game plan were being neutral and being adaptable and just like really focusing on that outlast.
Would you say there wasn't necessarily a pivotal moment? You just kind of trusted your gut the entire way through?
Yes. And there weren't many times that I was on the wrong side of the boat. Like I was pretty steady, like in the know on that side.
Ooh, give some credit. Okay. Well, I appreciate all your answers. Again, my vote is still up in the air as well right now. I'll be very transparent. This was not the final three that the jury expected. So good on you guys. Again, this is fantastic to see where your moves are and what's happening. So honestly, keep up the transparency, keep up the honesty. Right now it's anyone's game. So good on you all.
Thank you, Lex. Emily, you're up.
All right, so sorry, quickly cleaning the air. Yes, I made that plan. It was unfortunately for me a fake plan, and I was going with Jon. My affirmation for the game was be honest, be a good ally, trying to like make sure I didn't like give into chaos. But I gave into chaos and wanted to like create one more lie, and it was used properly against me. Good job. Okay, that leads into my question a little bit because so. Sarah, I love you. I don't think you're going to really probably getting many votes today just because the game wasn't quite there. Vee, my problem with your game is that you were on the wrong side of so many votes. And I've been trying to justify it because I love listening to you speak. I love the way you make people feel. So what I need in order to write your name down is like proof that there is proof in the pudding that like what were you were here playing before. I need to know what was going on before. And then Jon, from you, what I need is a clarification on your social game that what you've given like clear indications that you played well in terms of outplaying and managing your threat level. But Jon, your social game, that's where I have my gap for you because I don't know what you did socially besides occasionally swap information with the other side. Basically, there's no questions, just vibes. Respond.
Yeah, so I wanted to say this earlier and controversial, and I'm really sorry, this may not be satisfying for you. I actually don't think being on the right side or the wrong side of the votes really matters that much. That's my personal opinion. I'm so sorry. I hope I don't lose people over that. But ultimately, because I am here claiming an outlast game, that implies that 100% I was on the wrong side of the votes. That is the nature of I outlasted, and I outlasted being on the bottom and being on the wrong side of the votes. So I think it's, to me, in some ways, hopefully more impressive that I am still here despite being on the wrong side of the vote several times. With that being said, Emily, you had that list, right? Be a loyal ally and be honest. That was a big reason I was on the wrong side of the votes many times. I was trying to be a very loyal ally and I was trying to be extraordinarily honest in my game. And so for me, that's what caused that to happen. I wanted to stay very loyal to the people I was aligned with and very honest, and I have actually lied very little in this game, and so I struggled with parlaying more deeper trusting relationships due to time, and also all the alliances that were already in place that were kind of picking off my allies. So I think that's kind of what I'm coming here to say to you, is that the thing that was on your short list is something that I 100% did. And that's what I was doing pre-you. And that's the game I had to give up playing at the end of the day. I couldn't be loyal to Lydia. I could, that's kind of where I was at. And that's kind of, I think, what's happened and how it's changed.
As far as my social game specifically, I know I mentioned this a little bit earlier when I was talking about Parv. I love one-on-one talks and talking for a long time and connecting to people. And without that ability to do that here, I tried to just have a fun time in group settings. So I tried to appear that I wasn't like pushing things or running things, but just having a fun time. I mean, and even like me and Lydia would be laughing and having a great joke about something while I'm telling her, I am voting you tonight, though, for 500 tribals in a row. Like, I just tried to keep it light and airy in a game that can sometimes get very down. And I don't, and so that's where it was from that. And I tried to keep an upfront, honest game. And like you said, you were loyal to me, but from what I'd heard, and then since you didn't tell me you had said that, I was worried there. But until someone made like a move like that, I was just kind of straightforward a lot, like until I knew that they were coming hard for me. So that's what I try to do for the social game, is keep this game light and fun. And I've had an absolute blast.
I have no response, obviously, based on what you said, but I would also say that when you talk about wanting to be loyal, I've never felt that from you. Like, I was kind of surprised that would be your rules, because the only times that I felt nervous about somebody not telling me the truth was you. And one of the only votes I got was you after you told me you wouldn't. So I think I did play a more loyal game. Did I play 100% a loyal game? No, I did vote Lex, and that was probably one of the hardest ones. I know, I'm sorry. So that was definitely a thing that I did that I didn't say I would, but I did. And that's definitely probably, I can't remember 100%. One of the only times I wasn't loyal. So I would definitely say I played the loyal game that you wish you had played.
Well, thank you, Emily. Last but not least is Lydia.
Jon, I really liked what you said about threat management. I think that you succeeded in doing that. That is something that I personally struggle with, obviously. Okay, you won immunity twice. I really liked what you said about being conservative when you needed to and being straightforward. I think that's a really smart way to do it. And I agree that your luck aided you in that, but in a good way. And luck is a big part of making it to the end. I will say you lose points for saying you think you can play like Parvati, because I think that people say that a lot and it's a big claim. Sarah, I want to compliment you. I want to compliment you on your social game, because I did think that you played a great one. I didn't get to know you until later in the game, and I feel like we created a great bond. And I like to say, and I'm thinking Sophie Clark, sometimes the best move is not to make a move. And so that is what I'm hearing from your game and your defense of your game. That's why I told you I wanted to hear about the aspects of your game when we talked. I was like, if you make it to final, talk about it. Like I was genuinely wanted to encourage you to talk yourself up. Also, I appreciate what you said about what I said, play your game, and that influencing your decision to vote me out. I think that's really legit, and I really appreciate it. Jon, I didn't think you were being mean. Also, that was jokes. I was just like not pitching for you super hard, so then you gave it back to me really hard. So that was it. Vee, earnestly, I hear everything that you're saying. You played from the bottom. You also made me cry happy tears, because I'm the same. I think we're really kindred spirits. I think it's really impressive when people can play that really observant game and to really understand the power dynamics, especially when things are moving this fast. I have a really hard time with that. And I want to say that you helped me in terms of managing that stuff, because you were there by my side, and I'm super grateful for your loyalty in this game, and you made me cry a little bit. So anyway, I think y'all played fantastic. I really have nothing bad to say, and I am excited to see where this vote goes.
Thank you, Lydia. And I think that's a great way to end this jury questioning. I want to thank all the jury for your tough, but I feel fair questions to this final three and the final three for giving very admirable answers. But with that, we've done this for like 14 frickin' hours now. See, Lex, you can catch it. But with that, it's time to vote.
So my vote is going to the player that I think played the most well-rounded game, the player that I think corrected the most things as they went to adapt to be the sole survivor. Maybe they'll be it, maybe they won't. This is my pick.
So I will say right now, I did have a winner in mind, but literally hearing this badass bitch tell off Emily, I'm a bitter juror. And even though that Emily made the jury, Sarah, you earned my vote for sticking up for yourself and being the queen that you are. Good job.
I'm using this final piece of fancy parchment to vote for my day one ride or die, Vee. Yeah, I honestly thought she was going to turn on me sooner than she did. She turned on me at a reasonable time. And I mean, it's not because she made me cry, but she did also make me cry. I feel lucky that I get to vote for someone who played a really strong game, who I also feel like I really connected with and were really civil as people. So out of gratitude, respect, and lots of love, I'm voting for Vee.
For the last time, I will go tally the votes.
I wonder how far she's going this time.
Lydia, no idols, please.
Yeah, I'm going to play the idol that puts me back in the game.
And gets everybody's votes.
Jag.
All right, the votes in here were cast for a winner of the game. You want to see your name on these parchment papers. Are we ready?
Yes.
First vote, Sarah. Vee. Jon. 1 vote Sarah, 1 vote Vee, 1 vote Jon. Vee. Jon. 2 votes Vee, 2 votes Jon, 1 vote Sarah.
2 votes left.
Vee. The winner of season 5, Trinity Falls, Vee.
Congratulations, Vee. You are our 5th winner of our mini seasons. You are the sole survivor of Trinity Falls.
Give us a few words.
Thank you so much. I feel like a beauty pageant contestant. Thank you so much, you guys. Like, seriously, I respect all of you so much. I genuinely felt like everyone played such an amazing game. And not only that, in so many orgs, there can be so much difficulty and pain and sometimes toxicity. So to have a group of people who spoke to each other with warmth and kindness and love and respect, while also, making blind sides and playing all the stuff that makes Survivor a fun and dynamic and exciting and the game that we all love and are obsessed with. It's that's such a wild balance to strike. So not only am I so grateful and feel so privileged to be the winner, I also am so proud of this cast, and I'm so excited for our reunion, and I'm so proud of all of you. And I love you all. So thank you so much.
Jon, you got 2nd place. How are you feeling?
I am so happy for Vee. I thought she played excellently, and I meant it when I said I thought this was competitors I was up against. I'm very proud of the game I had played, and it was a game I'm extremely proud of. So shame I didn't snatch at the end, but I'm so happy for Vee. Congratulations.
And Sarah, 3rd place, rocked it.
Thank you.
What were your thoughts?
Whoever threw me the 1 vote, I could kiss you. Thank you. Don't know who it was, but Vee, honestly, after your tribal, I was I'd vote for her. She was so so much grace and so much beauty. You are a beauty queen, I guess. But yeah. Good job.
Congratulations to all of you for playing a very great game, making the merge, being part of the jury, being part of the final 3, and ultimately our winner in Vee. But let's keep all the bigger conversations away for now, because we will dig deeper into all this at the reunion. So for the final time for this season, thank you to everyone at DCP and all the cast of Trinity Falls. We're signing out.